Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. In the last episode, it seems like we've got Jake Marshall on the run. We've kind of proven that he was in the evidence room. And I'm still trying to figure out why. The closest thing I can come up with is that for some reason he has a grudge against Lana. And that's what kind of started this, but I don't have enough pieces to really go further than that. So he can clearly be seen in the video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white claw sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Oh, that's not what I thought. I thought that it was the coat. But I guess it makes sense that it wouldn't be. Shoot, what was in there? I feel like we know that already. The only downside to having large breaks. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime, and he knew he only had a few seconds, so that's why he wasn't careful about making sure that it was completely hidden, because he knew he only had so many seconds to get out. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order, order, it would seem that's the only... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner. You got the wrong man. So if my locker's opened, that doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Uh-oh. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. So he doesn't know about the fingerprint thing. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker. Now prove it. Only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it. Indicator light. Oh, yep. A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. Whoa, what kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. The locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Oh! Did you not jerky? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Order, order, order! Witness, explain yourself. This is a joke. It's the worst one I ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Why? I don't understand. What is K? Oh, killer victim. Okay, that's what. Sorry, that was confusing me probably way more than it should have. So he was technically the victim. Right? I don't like that the music didn't stop. No, there we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that was throwing me. Like I said, I spent way too much time looking at K and V. I'm like, huh? I think because in my head there was no killer or victim. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. And that's why he immediately started out with the knife. Yep. I believe the victim in this video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. That's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the scene of the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. Enter the evidence room. I asked him to show his card. He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? Oh, there we go. Yeah, quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective, unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. I mean, you've complained about it twice now. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. Wait. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ugh, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Is Edgeworth gonna help? Looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. Basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps a video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. What? Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. Oh god. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his own locker. Oh, I think I know. Hold on. Fast forward. I think I got this. Because he was not anticipating a fight. Oh, Ah, there it is. There it is. That's exactly what I was looking for. Wait. Hold on. Rewind. Sorry. Didn't he say he got stabbed in the right hand? So that would have been right. So he gets punched. How is there blood on? Alright, I'm just going to assume that it's the blood. For some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and enter the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat? You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. Seems the time has come. All right. Oh, confession. I had to do it. I had to do it that day. I just couldn't stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID card and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Oh, alright. Do I even need to cross-examine that? I mean, that's kinda... So the supposed victim was really you. And then there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. There's way too much blood for such a small donation. Oh. Okay. Couldn't just stand by and let it die. Alright, press it. When you say it, you mean... You even have to ask, partner. The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When the case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? Well, because it seems like it got him fired. Or demoted. That day was my last chance. That's why. Okay. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report. I returned his ID card, and I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? You mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprint. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Or maybe. I was expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. Poor Meekins. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekin certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think of a little more about his raise this year.
When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. Me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and...
So you did your research beforehand.
As you go into the desert unprepared, don't live long, partner. I didn't think it'd be enough. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
However, you bloodied your coat in the struggle with Officer Meekins.
If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
Oh, so that's what it was. Okay. That's what I thought. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
Well, he was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day...
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What, are you blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So you stole the evidence from the locker?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor.
Oh boy.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, this is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. You can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get the answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
Sure, why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murderers, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. Oh! Was I right? Nope, I didn't mean to do that. Shoot, I pressed L instead of R. Where was it? Neil Marshall. Am I right about that? I'm gonna... case closed. Yep. Oh, nope. This isn't what I wanted at all. Okay. Go, proceed. Keep going. He stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting it. Okay. Managed to escape. I knew which areas. Yep. There wasn't any murder. Yep. Can't just forget the SL incident. You know why? Yes! I don't really think that's an objection, but whatever. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. And a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall?
Yeah, I'm sure you heard the name. 2 years ago.
He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What, a prosecutor?
He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Oh yeah, I think I saw that in the photo they just showed. No, I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. The case fell into your hands.
But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. I want to say he seemed too young to be like, I was like, Dad? No.
He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions.
There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day of the SL9 incident. Case could be reopened. Oh my god, why can I not read today? Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Ugh, crap. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance, it's gotta be more than that, just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
Seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it.
No, they haven't.
Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely uncontestable. If you have any response, make it a single word or less.
Arrgh!
I rest my case.
No. As this trial has reached its conclusion, there is no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Wait, I object. Oh. Your Honor, wait. Emma? The defense has an objection. A scientific objection, right? What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor, in a sense. Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it. The names of both Sky sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found in Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and I looked at it again.
So did you find something?
No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy. Time's up now then, Mr. Wright. So with regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark.
Yeah, because it was a gloved hand.
Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use, but still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If I've ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing?
I'm gonna object. Right?
Alright, actually, you know what? We'll object in the next episode. We'll stop it here and see what happens. Man. I thought things looked grim at the end of the last episode. They look a little bit worse now. So let's hope that we can figure something out. I hope you guys are still enjoying this series. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.